mixing, fixing for another big game. It's a coach. This is Madden 19 on EA Sports. Coming up, we'll see running back Joe Mixon coming off a 100-yard performance a week ago, as it'll be the Cincinnati Bengals as they get set to square off against our home team. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, much appreciated, Coach, as we welcome all of you to our exclusive coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Houston Oilers. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And, Charles, you take a look at our home side as we enter play here. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for the Bengals here, it's late in the year. We all know it. We've seen the calendar for these guys. Their bodies could probably use a break, but they have to push on.
And they're really not as worried about that as maybe we think. They know they've got the entire offseason to rest. All they care about is the game in front of them and finishing strong.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. Returning it, John Ross. And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. Here come the Bengals now to take over. They'll be led out by the former Texas Christian University Horned Frog, Andy Dalton.
And I'll bet right now there's just one thought in his mind.
Win the game.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He played pretty well. I mean, he didn't turn over the ball in terms of interceptions,
no,
right?
2 touchdown passes last week.
2 touchdown passes, but when your team doesn't win, that's just hollow. And the best quarterbacks don't care about anything but whether or not their team won.
The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down. Here now the offense for the Bengals.
Out wide, they have A.J. Green, who can run every route you want on the route tree and take the top off the defense with his speed and has the length to go over the top of people to catch the ball. But maybe the most impressive thing about him, the only wide receiver ever to be a Pro Bowler in his first 7 years in the NFL.
Complete to the right side. It's Eifert. 50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a first down. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he was unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. A first down throw coming for Dalton. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first. Dalton throwing on second down. To the left side here for Eifert. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. Dalton to his big target, Eifert, for the Cincinnati first.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Well, look now at our starting defense. This unit, 3rd best in the NFL in stopping the run.
I remember years ago spending time with a top defensive coordinator, and he said the number one thing you have to do is hang your hat on something, create your identity. This unit, they hang their hat on being stingy against the run.
Second down, Dalton. Pass incomplete.
What's the old adage, be quick but don't hurry? Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
Here's Dalton. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good, and this will remain a scoreless game. That opening drive looked good for a moment there, but they'll wind up being turned away thanks to the missed field goal.
And those especially hurt when you come into a game on the road. You're trying to get things to go your way early, and now you suffer a setback right out of the gate.
And now out comes Houston as the season winds down and you look at them in totality. You know, the offense has struggled. The defense has been pretty good, so I would imagine the changes this offseason may be more on the offensive side of the ball.
And this is where we always hear the term complementary football because, as you noted, the defense has played well enough for them to win games, and the offense has held them back. So they've got to reward that defense by improving on offense. I don't know if you make a change, a quarterback, running back, tight end, it doesn't matter. Get better players, better system, so they can play to the standards of the defense, and the win column will result.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that one looked pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard, inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10.
Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39.
Looking to throw. Fields under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. That's called setting the tone right away.
It certainly is, and it lets you know just how important communication is amongst the offensive line. They talk about it all the time, knowing each other's moves. You've got to be coordinated and in sync. Otherwise, your quarterback gets hit.
So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Off play action. Fields. Rolling to his left. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's 3rd down. The chance of wasting this great starting field position, a real threat. This is 3rd and long. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that'll bring up 4th down as this Cincy defense stands up on 3rd.
It's a great job by this secondary. When I watch them, they remind me of elite defenders on a basketball court, right? They want to contest each and every pass.
Great contest on 3rd down to bring up 4th. These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration. Now seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And the last go-around for them, they tried that really, really long field goal, couldn't connect.
And in retrospect, I think a lot of people would say, well, why would you try one that long? You hurt yourself in field position. The ball comes out, there. That only helps the other team. But I look at it as maybe it was a double shot of confidence. Confident the kicker could make it. And even if he missed, confident in their defense that they could hold him.
Not a whole lot of room to run. Gets it to the 35 after showcasing the great move. The numbers for Mixon last week. There isn't a coach alive who wouldn't like those numbers. Well over 100 yards and a touchdown, too.
Partner, I think all the coaches who are in that great coaching box in the sky would take those numbers.
So dead or alive?
Either way, they would take that kind of production.
Off the play fake to Mixon. This is Dalton. And this will be incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
3rd down, a shot here for Dalton. He's got his man here. It's Green. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Green's first catch of the game. Good for a 1st down. So we have now seen connection number 1 between Dalton and Adriel Jeremiah, A.J. Green.
Say that again.
Adriel Jeremiah.
Look at you. You are full of knowledge and information. And you know something? I bet Andy Dalton learned his full name as well because he figured out quickly, this is going to be my #1 target. I got to know this guy in a big way.
Dalton on the draw to Mixon. And no room to maneuver there. Give him a yard up to the 47. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
Andy Dalton. And this is going to be incomplete.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
On 4th down on now is the lefty Ryan Allen to punt. Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. And as this offense makes their way back out, NFC playoff race time, we give you a look at what's going on there. And it's right about this time of year you start to say this is when the cream rises to the top. Week 15, 3 weeks left to go, but still plenty to be determined.
And I think for most teams, the obvious is to try and be the #1 or #2 seed. But when you look at it across the league and throughout the history of trying to get to the Super Bowl, the teams you really fear are the ones that get hot and sometimes sneak in at a 5 or a 6 seed, because we've seen those teams actually get to the Super Bowl and occasionally win it.
Yeah, you think of the Giants a couple of times. Steelers have done it. You're right. It has happened and will happen more in the future, I'm sure.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there? Freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards.
Here we go now.
And on the ground they go with a running back. So he got free of 1 tackle but couldn't do a whole lot else. Only a yard on the pickup, so from a good situation on 2nd and 2, it's now 3rd and 1.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Go play action, hit them over the top.
And they'll go on the ground. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
Well, that was big right there because they're the bottom 5 in the league in converting on 3rd down. They needed that pickup in a big way.
There were 2 things they said they wanted to win in this game. One, the turnover battle, and the second, 3rd down conversions. So they got one there. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
Hurry up, here we go.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
And before they can run another play, the clock hits triple zeros. And time is up on the first quarter. 3-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this.
The NFL on EA Sports is fueled by Gatorade, the sports fuel company.
Back with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and our drive continues here to start quarter number 2. They're looking at a 3rd and 6 here to start things out.
Now let's go. 3-19. 3-19.
Operating from the gun, Fields. He finds Corey Davis. His first catch, good for 14 there and a first down.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to take it down to about the 35 here. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
That was a good run, and it got to the second level. And what I mean by that is that's where the linebackers usually play. First level being the defensive front, last level being the secondary. But the strong safety position ended up making the tackle, and oftentimes we call them a hybrid. Combination defensive back, combination linebacker. We saw the linebacker make the stop.
And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. Only a gain of a yard, but that's all they needed, as that's going to move the chains.
2nd and 1, and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the first down.
Throwing on first down. Fields. Throw right side is going to be caught by Samuel. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. A nice pick up there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
First down. Fields. Wide open receiver complete. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18.
There's completion to the tight end, and I think they were looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
size, the hands.
Speed. I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
This will be their first trip to the red zone. They've got it 1st and goal to go.
Here we go now. Green, 39.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards, a good run there, and now 2nd and goal.
When you look at the geography we're staring at, this part of the field, don't you always think of big backs carrying the football, bruisers trying to pound it in? Instead, look at a little more of a scat back type, and he's trying to make it happen.
Yeah, they went with the elusive, slippery guy. Couldn't get in there, though. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
They were held to a field goal on their first drive. They want 6 now, but it's 3rd and goal.
Hurry up, here we go.
Back to throw. Fields. Oh, it's a touchdown if he holds on. Instead, it's 4th down. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning. Hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. And Suckup will put this one right through, and that will make it 6-0. So they get the field goal, but that was a 14-play drive to get 3.
It's not like you're going negative on that.
I was.
Sounds like you're thinking the 3 is just not that good.
And people say that we're negative sometimes. So.
Well, here's the deal. Getting the 3 is good. Obviously, you would think on a 14-play drive you're going to get 6 out of it. But that type of a drive can pay dividends later on because you might wear the defense down.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trade expression 101. Win first down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on first down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating first downs that way. Keep moving the football. You don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage.
Now Joe Mixon. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled them up throughout the game because that was his longest run of this contest.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. It's 2nd down. Dalton look it. And the catch good. It's Eifert. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
Well, they were unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
Now the Bengals on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? They looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there. And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the 2nd level.
On 2nd down, here's Mixon. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
Partner, you mind if I take off this headset and put on a coaching headset?
You want to get this running game going?
I want to get this running game going. I'm going down there and saying, gentlemen.
Under heavy pressure, and down goes Dalton on the sack. You never want to give up a sack. From the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it, but it's really, really difficult. You're talking about some terrific athletes who are trying to put him on the ground.
Here's Ryan Allen now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. Now a fair catch signaled for and made right about the 43-yard line. It'll be called just a 22-yard punt. Certainly not what he wanted. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And now out comes Houston. And they split the uprights last time for 3. They've got the lead. They're not going to play this conservative. They're not hoping for another field goal. They're hoping for a touchdown.
I'm with you on that one. I like where your head is. I like the way you're thinking because you're exactly right. Trying to sit on a lead and play that way, that doesn't work too well for most teams. Run your offense. Run what you do best. Exactly. Put it all the way down and try and increase your lead in a big way. And the best way to do it, touchdowns. That didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We're back to Houston after this timeout. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long.
Here we go.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Fields finding a safety valve here. That's complete. And now the Bengal defense here calling a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. And now following that timeout, the defense back out onto the field. On 4th down, here's Brett Kern to punt the football away. This is taken around the 12. It'll be a 48-yard punt. 5 there on the return. And the Bengals will take over here 1st and 10. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something?
Nixon hit, and all the ball is out.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Defensively, Charles, they continue to really limit this offense as far as yardage goes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been assignment sound, staying in their lanes, keeping proper leverage, and communicating well, too.
8 yards on the ground there, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 2. Here's Dalton to Mixon on the check down. And he's going to have a 1st down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. 3 yards there, good enough to keep the drive moving. Dalton, 1st and 10. Under heavy pressure, and down goes Dalton on the sack. The Bengals going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the 1st half. To throw on 2nd down. Dalton dumps it off to Mixon. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. 6 yards on the pickup, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 11. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. Boyd's the target, and he has it over the middle. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th. So a couple of field goals, that's all we've been able to muster through 2 quarters of play. 6-0 is our count at the break. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman in our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
Okay, Brandon, time for a sprint to the finish, as it's time to get you caught up with what's happening around the NFL here in a pivotal Week 15. We'll get started up at Lucas Oil Stadium in the capital city of Indianapolis. And it's the Ravens out in front as that game moves towards halftime. Mark Ingram has a touchdown there. From there, it's over to our nation's capital to check on the Redskins at home at FedEx Field. And for the moment, they trail the visiting Browns in that one. Baker Mayfield with 3 touchdown passes. Finally, let's get down to Houston. Check on the Texans at home at NRG Stadium. And they trail the visiting Lions in that one. The Lions trying to finish that one off and claim victory. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a defensive struggle. Which offense can break through in the second half? To find out, let's hand it over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. This one fielded at the 5. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. And now out comes Houston. They have the lead now. They'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the 3rd quarter.
I like the way you term that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the 1st half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the 1st half.
We'll see if they do just that. The linebacker, Preston Brown, brings him down.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. A very good move, but for a short gain out near the 32. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
We've seen good cover skills on display throughout this game, really from both teams. And there's another nice example there of them making it difficult to complete a pass.
The Bengals bring pressure, and it's blocked. So much for pinning him really deep. Short punt could have pinned him inside the 10. Now great field position the other way.
It's never good when you're punting the ball and your eyes see the ball go back behind you.
No.
In however form, whether it's over your head or to the side, never good. Now it becomes a race to get to the football so they don't pick it up and take it all the way.
So here are the Bengals now as they get their first possession of this second half. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Not a big run on the first play of the drive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad play. Sometimes you're just trying to settle in, get your guys a little bit of contact, and get things moving.
Again, it's Mixon, and they'll get him down right around the 16. Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 5.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
To throw here, Dalton. And Eifert has it. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
They brought in a heavy set on 3rd down, and that usually means running play. But we have seen them throw out of that formation. And sure enough, they snuck the tight end out on that one. Wound up hitting him for a 1st down.
Might we see our first touchdown of the game? Here's 1st and goal. Mixon trying to punch it in. And this will result in him losing yardage. Back to the 3. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
So they're backed up to the 3-yard line, 2nd and goal. They send Green to the left on his own. Looking to throw on 2nd down. Dalton. Green's open, and he's got it for a Bengal touchdown. A.J. Green, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Bengals draw even, and of course they can take the lead if they hit the extra point. Well, that's about as quick of a passing touchdown as you'll ever see right there.
Everyone has a section in their playbook called the quick game. That was the super quick game. Out of the hands of the thrower, bam, right to the receiver, successfully for a touchdown.
How in-depth is that quick game part of the playbook?
It's pretty in-depth because people want the ball in the hands of the quarterback into the playmaker's hands downfield as fast as possible. There are a lot of plays, a lot of options involved with that.
5 plays there on that drive. And it's finished off with a Cincinnati touchdown. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This one fielded at the 5. And a pretty good return here. He'll be stopped just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here we go. 3-19.
And they'll run it here. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
Well, so much for him being bottled up throughout the day. Finally finds a way to break through and get a really nice gain. The defense had felt great about what they had going. Now they've got to turn their attention to getting it back in that direction. Can they bottle him up again? Because I'd say after that run, confidence is pretty high for him.
So that one will be accepted. And on the ground they go with a running back. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. 4 yards on the pickup. It'll be 2nd down.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice game like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Looking to throw. Fields. Oh, he dropped it. They were looking for him in the middle third. He couldn't catch it. Now 3rd down. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some.
And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. Well, they went with a nickel. They throw in an extra defensive back. Coverage was very good.
Yeah, it was exactly as you would expect. A passing down. You bring in the nickel package. Just as you described, the coverage was excellent and allowed one of their linemen to end up getting to the quarterback.
Here's Brett Kern now. Remember, though, he did have one blocked earlier. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
They go play action here on 1st down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
10 yards there on a Bengal first.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
On 1st and 10, here's Andy Dalton. Green's got it over the middle. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Nice completion there for Andy Dalton. Charles, you worked some of his games when he was at TCU. Now you've worked his games in the NFL. What progression have you seen?
I've seen a guy who took over as a freshman in college and got better and better each year. Always added a little bit more to his game, gets stronger. But the best part about him is he's always been accurate.
Mixon with a 1st down carry. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. Just a yard on the 1st down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, He was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. The Bengals passing game finding a rhythm. They've got another first.
They ran that one well, and not only did they pick up a nice chunk of yardage on the screen, they sent a message to the defense. Rush the passer all you want, but you better be careful. We can hit you going back the other direction.
Andy Dalton now, 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. Dalton with a give here to Mixon. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. It's another 10 yards on that one and another first down.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Dalton bootlegs out. Under heavy pressure, and down goes Dalton on the sack.
That's his second sack of the game, and the best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them, what moves they need to do to set them up. This guy's been pretty good at it all game long.
So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Off the bootleg, Dalton. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. That one good for 17 as they're set up better now for 3rd down.
And another thing that makes a comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
We're off to the 4th quarter here in Week 15. Happy holidays to all. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here on EA Sports. And we've got a dandy here. A 1-point game as we begin the 4th. Now the Bengals on 3rd down. They're at 50%, 4 for 8. This is 3rd and 4. A handoff to Mixon. And he will have the first down before he's tackled at the 12. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. Now Dalton with a 1st and 10. Oh, it's incomplete. That would have been big in the end zone if he could have held on. Instead, it's 2nd down.
I think he's taking an awful chance with the football right there. You've got to lead, you've got to protect it, and he's taking chances putting it out there in a little bit of jeopardy.
Especially in a spot like this, 4th quarter, as you said, trying to cling to that advantage.
Yeah, that one probably should have been picked, huh?
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Here's a give to Mixon. He'll get this down inside the 10 for a pickup of about 3. Well, with the fumble he had earlier, we know how key keeping the football is here. That fumble earlier probably at the forefront of his mind. Just hold on to this thing.
It's also at the forefront of the mind of the guys who are trying to get the ball from him. And since they've seen him drop it on the ground before, they're doing everything possible to have him do it again. They need that turnover.
And that is incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender is making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. So the field goal unit is on the field as this is a big spot right here from the right hash, and this one just a chippy. And this one is right through. And they bump the lead up to 4 now at 10-6. So they get to 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. And as this offense makes their way back out, it's AFC playoff race time as we give you a look. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Throwing to start the drive. Fields. The Bengal pressure gets him that time. Down he goes.
Well, so much for setting the tone of the drive offensively. Giving up a big sack that loses that kind of yardage, not a great start.
The job becomes twice as difficult now. After the sack, it's 2nd and 20.
All right, here we go. Green, 39.
From the gun, Fields. And finding the tight end, Hooper. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. Throwing on 3rd and long. Fields. And this is going to be incomplete. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
Here's Brett Kern now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. So just a 3-yard return following a punt of 45. And out will come the offense as they take over. Now this Bengals offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met. I got the sense that the defense created a little momentum for them there, didn't they?
Did their job, forced the punt. Now, nice start to the drive. Offense has to do their part.
Yeah, they certainly do, but what a great start for them. They got to go thank the guys on D.
Mixon. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4.
Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bringing up a key 3rd down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means they might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key 3rd down. Highlight that word. Put it in bold. Here we go. A Bengal 1st down on the 16-yard pickup there. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on 3rd down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Running left, it's Mixon. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
And he'll get 4 here down to the 35-yard line. The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And this play will be blown up. He'll lose yardage back at the 38. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down.
They tried to run right into the teeth of the defense on 3rd down, but looked like those teeth were pretty sharp.
They were having absolutely none of it, stuffed them for a loss.
Yeah, couldn't get any leverage up front and move people aside in order to run the ball.
So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This officially a 55-yard attempt. Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. Now it's scooped up, and this is a live football. Elsewhere, they're into the 4th at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And the Ravens have taken the lead there late. If they can hold on, the win would be number 8 for them on the campaign. And now out comes Houston. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Throwing to start the drive. Fields. A rough couple of weeks for the man under center. 5 sacks last week, 4 now this week. Do you try to design some quicker developing plays if you're an offensive coordinator?
I think you do that. I think you also change his launch point at times. In other words, move your pocket to the right, to the left, roll him out, bootleg him. Do some different things so they can't just rely on the fact that he's going to take 3 to 5 steps back in the pocket and line up and throw the football.
Yeah, current formula is not working right now. Off the play fake. Fields. Sideline throw. It's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
And a great job by our crew on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or on the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. Operating from the gun. Fields. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. It'll be a gain of 4. And it'll be 4th down. Here's Brett Kern now as he's on to punt for Houston. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They're facing a critical third down now as they try to hold on to this lead. Now, this is a big third down, and you'd have to think we'd see a timeout right away if they can't stop them here. On third down, Mixon, and he's going to have the first down at about the 38. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. Back to Mixon on first down. And very little room to maneuver. He'll get this down to about the 39. And whistles, and we're going to have another stoppage of play as they call the timeout on defense with 1:53 left. So 2nd and 9, and you'd have to figure just about all 11 probably crashing the line here. They'll run here with Mixon. Looking for an opening, not much there. He'll get it to the 39. And now we're going to get a timeout here called by the defense as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important third down. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. They'll run it now out of the gun. Call it no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
And now out comes Houston. They're down here in a 1-score game. But the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
Yeah, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. He'll look to throw. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. He's back to throw. That's complete. Hooper. And able to get this one out just shy of the 25 at the 24. 15 yards through the air and a first down. And down to just 21 seconds now as he spikes it to stop the clock. To throw. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
Now we're in the situation where the quarterback's got to take full charge of his huddle. Got to totally command it, make sure all eyes are on him. All focus is locked in. Going to call multiple plays and go over different situations and scenarios to make sure everyone is on the same page.
The offense on third down, they're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This is 3rd and 10.
Hurry up, here we go. Green 39, green 39.
Back to throw. He's going to let it fly. And nearly intercepted there. That would have been ball game if he had clinched it and caught it. Instead, it gives him one more chance here on 4th down. So he's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
Here we go now.
As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. Darquez Denard there defensively. So that one hurt. No timeouts left. Look at where the ball is on the field, Charles. I don't know if the fat lady's singing yet, but she's starting to hum a little bit, isn't she?
You think she's doing scales at this point? I don't think there's any doubt about it, but they had to go for it. In this situation, with their timeout situation as well, they had to take the chance, try and get it done. They didn't. Now they're powerless to stop them, essentially.
They need a big play somehow from their defense. Well, Charles, the old saying, the old cliche, if you will, points at a premium. That certainly applied here, didn't it?
And that almost felt like opened up a time capsule, didn't it? Old school football, low scoring, close game. What a way to finish it up.
You loved it, didn't you? You loved the defenses.
I certainly did. Brought back the images of the game of old.
So for Cincinnati, their battle to finish 500 gets a slight lift as they move to 6-8 on the year. And they'll get another road test next week as they head to New England to take on the Patriots. Meanwhile, for the home team here, their slim playoff hopes are gone now as they fall to 5-9. And they'll try to get back on the beam next week as they'll head to Cleveland to take on the Browns. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Certainly have to thank Charles Davis, my broadcast partner, and our entire crew. We'll catch you next time right here. It's the NFL on EA Sports.